All right. Warmly welcome everyone to our webinar with One-Click LCA and Solibri. My name is Kim and I'll be hosting this webinar today. We are going to talk about streamlined sustainable design together with Solibri. First, we're going to go through LCA, practicalities in general a little bit, and then jump into the regulatory landscape affecting the industry at the moment. And pretty soon after that, we will be jumping into the actual workflow between One-Click LCA and Solibri and go through some of the benefits from our customers and users' point of view as well. But to introduce the speakers, Kostas, One-Click LCA's lead product manager, would you like to shortly introduce yourself?
All right. Yes. Hello, everyone. Many thanks, Kim, for the introduction. At One-Click LCA, I'm product manager for the AEC squad. We're focusing mostly on the construction and infra side of things, managing all the integrations we develop with third-party platforms and our concept phase tool, Carbon Designer, and a range of interfaces. So if you have any feedback or any requests, feel free to share them in the chat. Thank you very much.
Very nice. Thank you, Kostas, and welcome. And joining Kostas and myself, we have Paul Linder, product manager for Solibri. So, Paul, could you say a few words about yourself?
Yes, thanks, Kim, for the introduction. My name is Paul Linder. I'm product manager at Solibri, responsible for our Solibri desktop product and also involved in some cloud projects. My background is civil engineer. I was working as a BIM manager in the factory planning, and now I'm on the software side.
Perfect. Thank you, Paul, and welcome both again. So this webinar is brought to you by One-Click LCA and Solibri. And I'd like to say a few words about One-Click LCA to get things started. One-Click LCA is a global LCA software that empowers the construction and manufacturing industries to decarbonize and get sustainable. With One-Click LCA, you can comply with more than 80 national standards, access the world's largest construction LCA database. We have over 250,000 LCA datasets, and basically bring LCA into your existing workflows with more than 20 BIM and other integrations and make your sustainability calculations much faster and easier. Our software is used currently in more than 170 countries, and you can learn more about us at oneclicklca.com. With this slide, I want to highlight that One-Click LCA is tailored to support three key sectors, and those are buildings, infrastructure, and manufacturing. For buildings, it covers all project types, including data centers and MEP systems. In infrastructure, it supports civil, transport, and specialized infrastructure projects. And for manufacturing, it caters to heavy and advanced manufacturing and assembly processes. So overall, the message here is that One-Click LCA is a very versatile solution for sustainability, lifecycle assessments, and carbon management across all these different industries. But that's it from my side and One-Click LCA intros. Next up, we have a few words from Solibri. So Paul, please go ahead.
Yes, thanks, Kim. For all of you who don't know Solibri, we are a tool that concentrates on quality control and quality assurance for BIM projects. So our mission is creating a digital future of better builds. We are used in over 130 countries, and with Solibri, there are 1 million executed checks per year, and we have a lot of users. So whenever quality is requested in a BIM project, then mostly the users are using Solibri. So we also have big customers like Skanska, Rambo, Takenaka, and Arup who are using our tool. You probably ask yourself now when to use Solibri. So you can use Solibri in every project phase. That means like from the concept design phase or in the construction or even in the operation and maintenance phase to check if as planned is also as built in a way, or to check building codes, or to prepare cost calculation, or in this case to do a CO2 calculation. So the workflow in Solibri is like you coordinate the models You can have a single discipline or even more disciplines available, like architecture, MEP, or structural. Then you can classify that kind of information that comes along with the disciplines. And then you are able to check if there are any issues in your federated model or in your single model. If yes, then you are creating BCFs and communicate that with the designer. If you have a high quality of your model, then we recommend to do an information takeoff or a quantity takeoff. And this is how you work with Solibri. I would forward now to Kostas.
Very nice. Thank you, Paul. And just jumping in that before we eventually jump into demoing the two softwares and the workflow also that was addressed, like stated earlier, we want to sort of set the scene first and talk a little bit about life cycle assessments and the regulatory landscape aspects that's shaping the industry. So Kostas, please go ahead.
All right. Yeah, like LCA might be a new term for many people in the audience. So I will start with a brief explanation on what is LCA and why it is important, especially for our industry. And then at the next step, also what is the need and the demands and the business case around it. So LCA stands for Life Cycle Assessment. And as the name suggests, we try to examine the full life cycle of a material or a building in this case, to avoid sub-optimization of environmental performance of the examined building. So here, for example, we have the full, all the stages of a building's life cycle. At this point, I want to highlight that LCA is a standardized methodology. There is ISO standards and EN standards that are defining how this assessment should be done. And these are more or less accepted worldwide. And so they're commonly accepted and used in projects all over the world. And LCA is science-based. And because it is science-based and standardized, it is also very considered highly reliable, and it is preferred by the investors and the governing bodies when it comes to creating regulations and creating requirements for environmental assessments. So for LCA, everything starts in the nature by extracting materials, cutting down the trees or mining iron, and then creating the products that are then used in creating construction materials, which are then transferred to a specific construction site and used in a building. We have the operation of the building, including like energy consumption and water consumption and material replacement and maintenance. And then we have the end of life. And why it is important to examine this full life cycle, we can imagine also an example where you might have two materials. One material might have lower impacts, but then when it comes to manufacturing, but if we consider also the transportation part, if it has to be transferred to your construction site from some other country, and then if we examine also the operational part, the amount of replacements that the different materials might need, the overall picture might change on what is the preferred solution from sustainability perspective. So this is LCA. And then why are we doing LCA and why is this important? So our industry, like the construction industry, is unfortunately like a top polluter on global scale. So 39% of all greenhouse gas emissions relate to the construction industry. 11% of the total emissions is coming from materials. And also big amount of raw material extraction relates to our industry. As a result, we have a problem we need to tackle, and LCA is the tool to measure the problem and optimize the way we create buildings. And in order to scale LCA usage, we have a range of barriers. So one of those barriers is also the lack of BIM automation, as highlighted in our report. And this is also a main reason we're here today, because with this integration, we try to optimize this workflow and make LCA easier to scale, LCA adoption easier to scale and be used in every building. And then next step is the regulatory landscape and what are the needs. So here, this problem has been of the carbon footprint of the construction industry has been acknowledged by many governments and regulatory authorities all over the world. And as a result, LCA has been is already part of some mandatory regulations. For example, in the Nordics, Central Europe, France, Netherlands, and also in North America. And there is many more regulations which are kicking in. In Europe, potentially the biggest change will come with a revised energy performance building directive that is introducing requirements for performing carbon assessments for all buildings above 1,000 square meters after 2028 and for all buildings after 2030. So this is an ongoing discussion, and there is a lot of let's say side effects coming from this. And you can read more about all these different regulations also in One-Click LCA Academy. We have a more info on One-Click LCA website. Additionally, apart from the regulation, there is also demand coming from investors and building owners who might want to ensure the quality of the building of their building they purchase they build through some building certification scheme. For example, BREEAM, LEED are common building certification schemes, and they more or less all of these certification schemes, or wide majority of them, have carbon reporting requirements, often mandatory. Also the investors, as I already mentioned, they might have some interest in disclosing this type of impacts, or they might have some mandatory requirements, like a legal requirement to disclose this type of impact. So they use LCA for that, for all the reasons that were mentioned earlier. And as I mentioned, you can read more. You can find more info on all of this in our academy. There is a range of courses and a lot of material also on the website regarding the use cases for LCA and a range of applications and regulations around this. And I will. We can continue with a workflow between Solibri and One-Click LCA. Kim, I will continue. With that. Here we have put together like a bit the highlights of why is this integration useful for the users. So when it comes to Solibri, you already have a platform that is ensuring the high quality of the BIM model by helping you with a range of rule sets, and that can help you like get an accurate bill of materials. And this can make the whole LCA performing an LCA much easier, as you already start with a very good basis of accurate quantities. The integration is also offering a range of features that can help you make this whole workflow a bit more seamless. And we will be taking these features in the next stage in the live demo. So in short, this integration can help you get quite quickly a very robust lifecycle assessment by using quite accurate material information and saving a lot of time in the process of assigning environmental profiles to materials and getting the full LCA report. And next, we have a few more information about the exact workflow. So we'll give the floor to Paul.
Yeah, thanks, Kostas. You probably ask yourself now how the workflow looked like between Solibri and one-click LCA. So we created this simple slide to show you how that looked like. So you have the BIM modelers, could be the architect or an engineer that is designing an MEP model or a structure model. And so you have different discipline models, what you are coordinating in Solibri Desktop. And after you did that, we recommend to do a validation. That means like to do a check about does the geometric and information quality is good enough to do a CO2 calculation. So you are checking your models based on geometric and information. And if you detect some issues, you can create BCFs, and these BCFs can be synced with the CDE. So the BIM modeler are able to rework on the model and fix the issues. And if you then have a kind of good quality of your model, then we recommend to use the integration and to do the data processing. That means, like in the integration, there is an automatic quantity takeoff taking place, and you are able to do the mapping between the components of in your model to the EPD, the environmental profile declarations. And if you have done that, you transfer the data to the one-click LCA platform, and I would pass on to Kostas what is happening there.
Well, thank you, Paul. So at this stage, you can get directly your carbon analysis. On the side, there is a range of other metrics you can also assess, like circularity and cost. And based on that, you can identify what are the hotspots, try to optimize your design, identify if you can choose better materials, or see if there is some other change you could do in your model to optimize the carbon performance. And also, within one-click LCA, depending the certification, you might need to do a few extra inputs, like data that are not in a BIM model, like energy or energy performance or so on. So you can review the data and all the kind of scenarios and get your final results.
Very good. Thank you, Paul and Kostas. I think we're ready to showcase the workflow. So it all starts with Solibri and Paul. So Paul, please go ahead and start sharing your screen.
Yeah, thanks, Kim. So let's jump into the demo. We now covered the theoretic part, but now you ask yourself probably how to use that integration. So first of all, this is the Solibri interface. I think most of you are familiar with that interface. But to use the one-click LCA integration, you need to do following step. So as a Solibri customer, you have access to the Solution Center, except you are an ecom user, but then you have the integration already in the product. So you need to go here in the Solution Center on the section Solibri extension and scroll down. There is the extension available. It is called one-click LCA extension. You just shop it like you do in Amazon and go through the process. It's for free, so no costs are here. The only thing is your Solibri admin needs to assign that extension on your working Solibri version. If he has done that, then you have here in the Solution Center section in Solibri, the extension available, and you need to install it, and then you are ready to go. One thing is like, please restart the extension so you have the one-click LCA layout here, so also available in Solibri. And this extension you can see here now and can open as a resource, and that comes along with some rules that contain some checks and also with some simple classifications. Yeah, let's have a look at that, how that looks like. So we have here a demonstration model, a Solibri demonstration model, and I executed already the checks because it takes a bit of time to run the checks because there are a lot of components. So in the first check, we are checking, are there any duplicates existing in my model? So for an example, here we are spotting some duplicates. So a column is existing in the same location. Why do we need to check that before we are going into the one-click LCA integration? Is that we want to avoid that there are wrong quantities. So the quantities should be reliable so that you have at the end also a reliable CO2 calculation. So here are some duplicates, what we are spotted, and also some intersections. I'm just selecting some random intersections. Here, for an example, is the beam and the roof intersecting. So these are issues and need to be fixed. And if that is fixed, then you have a higher quality and a reliable quantity takeoff. So this is needed to be done, that step beforehand. And another check is like, you want to know like what is this component made of, like what material is it? And here we have a rule that is searching for material information. For an example, we have here, if I'm clicking on the report, we have 1,300 components passed that have the information material attached, so they know what they are made of. But on the other hand, there are some components who doesn't have that kind of information. So it's hard to map at the end the EPD on that component. And so this is also something what needs to be reworked before I'm going into the one-click LCA integration. The other thing is like we added some simple classification here in Solibri. So for an example, a grouping of material. So I know, okay, what is in my model? This is all concrete block, for an example. This is concrete and so on. So simple classifications. But let's move on to the one-click LCA extension. So this is an automatic quantity takeoff, which was taking place automatically. So you can see here on the left, the groups of the components, the wall, for an example, and a subcategory that is based on the existing material in my model. So all, for an example, all concrete walls are grouped here, and you can see all the entities of that. Here on the next column is the IFC class, and there the one-click LCA class, and this is the one-to-one mapping. On the next column, you can see like the material, so you know like what this component is made of. And here, this is the interesting part. Now here you can now map this group to an EPD. Here, for an example, we are choosing BRE and searching for concrete because this is a concrete wall, and apply that. And as you can see, if I'm applying that on the subfolder, every component is mapped on that information. We can do that as well, like this is only an example for wall. We could have that also for beams, so reinforced beams, for an example. Let's search if we have here something in the BRE. I'm looking for concrete, then beams. Yeah, here reinforcement is available, and also concrete, and I'm just apply that. The same you can do also with layers. If you have slabs, for an example, that have tiles, I can also do that for layers. And let's map that once here. Searching for tile. We have here luxury vinyl floor tiles, and I can apply that. So the good thing, of course, is that I can save my status. So when I not get finished with the mapping, I can save it at the end and work on it, or continue the work on the next day. I can also open like save files. I can do that here. I have here one JSON file now that I want to upload. And as you can see, everything is updated. One thing is like, of course, you can do the manual mapping here, but there are also the opportunity to have the automatic mapping in the one-click LCA platform. It's called environmental profile mapping. And so you will get some mapping suggestion in one-click LCA if you have not done that manually here in Solibri. Of course, you can also go ahead with a combined solution to manual map here some stuff, and the rest will be automatically mapped in one-click LCA. So that's about that. If I now want to transfer this information to one-click LCA, I'm just hitting that button, and it leads me directly to the one-click LCA platform. And I would now pass to Kostas.
All right. Thank you very much, Paul. I will start sharing my screen. All right. So we'll show the workflow from here on. So once you are here in the online interface, you select where you want to input the data you exported. At this point, I want to highlight that you can check what exactly information we export from your model by downloading this Excel file. I want to highlight that we are exporting exclusively the material quantities, so no other info that could be potentially sensitive or anything like that. So you can see here in this Excel, it is all the info we export, which is material names and quantities. Once you are in one-click LCA, you can select where you wish to insert your data. So I chose a project. I have created already some designs. I will add it in a design called Solibri import. You can pick which tool you want to use for the import process. It chooses data accordingly. So here I have pre-selected a few tools. And then here I won't focus too much on I won't refer to every button in the interface, because currently we're in the process of launching a brand new interface for this whole import workflow. This is gradually being rolled out, and it comes with a range of upgrades. The workflow will remain very similar, but the interface and some functionalities will be quite upgraded. So here I chose my tool I want to import to. Solid is a well-known building certification scheme. It comes with some filtering settings. We can exclude data that are not relevant for LEED or BREEAM, for example. So for different certifications, you might have different requirements. The software takes that into account automatically and helps you with the next steps to guide you. I will skip the classify step because this is already happening inside Solibri integration. Here I will merge my data. When you import data, you can select to overwrite everything, or you can import data from different sources and combine them. So, for example, if your model is like you have an architectural model without the foundations, you can enter the foundations manually in the online interface or import them with an Excel and so on. So you have the maximum flexibility on that side. Here I can filter out some building parts. Let's say I have noticed what is there in some building parts in the model, and I think they are not very relevant for my calculation. So I will just exclude them. And then the import process will try to make this a bit easier for you to handle all the data. So you might import like thousands of different rows. So in this case, it was like 6,000 rows of different elements coming from Solibri. So in this step, you will combine this data to bigger groups, as long as, for example, here the material name and quantity and building part are identical, but you can choose what other criteria you wish for combining the data. And I will then continue. The software has a step for reviewing the data you imported. We can give you also some potential warnings about the data you try to import, like if you have some too generic names, or if we notice something that could potentially be a mistake, we will give you a notice. So that you can review it if you wish. Additionally, we have a range of checks that take place once you assign environmental profiles to all the data. So we check if what you did is correct, or, for example, what can be a common problem is that you might have a wall in a BIM model that might be missing the material layers, and then you end up, let's say, with a gypsum board that has the same thickness as the wall, for example. So we try to give you feedback and raise potential issues. In this case, we have some such cases, so we will see them in the next step. And here, like at this stage, is where we map materials coming from Solibri on the left side to environmental profiles in One-Click LCA database. So One-Click LCA will try to map automatically all the data that you haven't mapped inside Solibri. For that, we take into account, we have a very specific hierarchy. We check what you did in the past. If you assigned an environmental profile to a specific material with a specific name in the past, or if your colleagues did something like this, or other users in the country. And recently, we also introduced an AI-powered engine that is trying to assign environmental profile mappings for the remaining unidentified data. So in this case, I can say, for example, this aluminum material in Solibri has been mapped to this environmental profile. I can say this is a One-Click LCA data point, generic data point, and the reason for the mapping is that it was mapped inside the model manually. Or in this case, I can see this was mapped by myself in the past. So you can see what is this data point here, and so on. For its data point, you can open the data card. If there is a linked EPD, like environmental product declaration, there will be an option to open it in a separate tab and see what is this material about. And and so on. So considering the software is learning from your inputs, and considering also the AI engine we introduced, like this ratio of automatic identification of data is constantly improving and being rolled out to more and more tools currently, this optimized behavior. So at this stage, you can review what is in the model and what environmental profile has been assigned. If you're wondering what is this material about and how it links to what I had in the model, you can click on this green icon and see what it is about. But of course, this is the benefit of this Solibri integration, that for extra visibility, you can do this environmental profile assignment directly in the plugin, because in the plugin you can click on a row and say what is this material about, and map it a bit more easily. Here, this is the information you have carried on. So then I will continue to the next step. So as a next step, I will have done here the environmental profile assignment. You can switch between options and so on. And then at the next step, you get directly to the results. Depending on the certification you are working on, maybe you are just done actually. But for some other certification, you might need to make few more inputs. And the software is giving you warning. So for example, in this case, I need to clarify what is the calculation period I'm examining for my life cycle assessment, so that the software can calculate the replacements that are needed for its material. Here, while we imported just the material quantities, one-click LCA will automatically also calculate transportation scenarios, replacement scenarios, and end-of-life scenarios. So all these are automatically calculated, and you don't have to do anything extra. But of course, one can go to the inputs and review them and see these scenarios. I will open this in a new tab. Also here, once you're in the results page, you can see directly an analysis of your results. Where are the impacts coming from? And see for potential improvements. Here, actually, we have imported also some materials that have some, let's say, some imperfections in the modeling or in the way I imported the data. So here, one-click LCA has an additional layer that gives you all kinds of notifications about potential mistakes. So here I can say that the software automatically gave me a feedback that the quantity of glass is unrealistic, and this is affecting the mass and the range of issues. So here I can I can see here that I'm missing some rebar as the ready mix and reinforcement ratio is quite low, which can be quite common for architectural models. So here, if I go to the inputs for this design, I can see some more information. Here, I can export my reports and use them for different certifications. And here, I will go to the materials. So here, I can see what I inserted and all the transportation scenarios and service life scenarios that have been generated automatically. And one can come here and edit these values. And additionally, the software is giving here a range of warnings. So I can see here, for example, what I mentioned earlier for the glass in my model, that it had an implausible thickness. So I can see here that the thickness of the glass is unrealistic, and I get a warning for that. Yeah, so the software is guiding you to improve how to fix the remaining issues and get your final report. So here I can come and edit this. I have done this already in a separate design, and I can show you how the final results look like. So here you can see all the reports. You can see which materials are driving the impacts. So you can see there is a lot of concrete here and steel. And we can see a range of graphs that explain where the impacts are coming from. I won't go into the details of all the features. I will wrap this up here. Maybe I will mention, because I think this is quite important, like what is the next step? Okay, one step is you export the reports. Another step might be that you want to start reducing impacts. What do you need to do? So one option is you could just make copies of your designs here within OneClick LCA and start changing materials and see how this optimizes the impacts. And then when you feel confident about the change you want to do, you can implement it also back into your IFC, like in your BIM model. And then you can re-import only when you have some more major changes in your quantities. Yeah, so this was it for the LCA. Also in my design, I have here circularity tool and life cycle costing tool. So I got directly also data for this type of analysis at once. Yeah, you can go to tools and see those. You can try out the integration on your own with a simple OneClick LCA trial, or if you have a business license or higher, you can also give it a try. And yeah, that was it for me. Sorry, too much information. I will stop here. Yeah. I will give the floor back to you, Kim.
Perfect. Thank you, Kostas and Paul. Let me get the presentation back up. Just a second. Here we go. Okay, so thanks again, Paul and Kostas, for a great demo. I think it very much lives up to the title of the webinar, Streamlined Sustainable Design. So for our audience, now you've seen the demo and the workflow. And for the people attending this webinar, we'd actually like to introduce some special offers from both Solibri's and OneClick LCA's side. So first, we'll introduce the offer from Solibri. And Solibri is celebrating its 25th anniversary with two special offers. First, you can get a 25% discount on Solibri Office perpetual license. It's a great opportunity to secure a lifetime license before Solibri transitions fully to a subscription model in 2025. And it's ideal for those wanting a one-time investment in their BIM solution. The second offer is a discount on Solibri Office individual subscription. This is a perfect low-risk option for small companies, allowing multiple team members to share the license. And it's designed for flexibility and efficiency, ensuring that you get the most out of Solibri without a long-term commitment. Both of these offers are limited, so make sure to take advantage soon. If you're interested to know more about the offers, you can contact sales@solibri.com. And pretty soon, you'll actually also have the chance to get in touch with us through a poll that will pop up here very soon. But before the poll, we'd also like to present the offer from OneClick LCA's side for those of you attending the webinar. We have an exclusive offer available for the next month. So if you're interested in OneClick LCA licenses, we are offering two significant discounts for new customers. For concurrent licenses, you will receive a discount of 1,000 euros, dollars, or pounds based on where you're located. And for named user licenses, you'll get a 500 euro, dollar, or pound discount, again, based on your location. And to take advantage of this, all you need to do is request a demo within 1 month after this webinar with a coupon code of Solibri 2024. And this is a great opportunity to start using OneClick LCA with a low threshold and significant savings. So don't miss out. It's valid for new customers only, like it says here. But additionally, if you want to get in touch with us to start the conversation already now we should be having a pop-up with the option of getting contacted by either OneClick LCA or Solibri or both. So this is your cue to let us know if you want to get in touch with us through the offering or just a customized demo specifically tailored for your company's and industry's needs. Okay. I think we're ready to jump in towards the end. So again, if you're interested in buying or purchasing or hearing about the offer from OneClick LCA and Solibri, please answer the poll. We'll make sure to contact you pretty quickly already after the event is over. We have originally reached the end of the session, and I would like to thank Kostas and Paul for a great presentation and demo of the workflow. I hope the audience here found some new insights generally about LCA, but also about how Solibri and One-Click LCA can help you on your sustainability journey. Kostas, Paul, anything you'd like to add?
Well, thank you very much, Kim. Great to be here. Yeah.
Thanks, Kim, for the opportunity to present the integration.
Perfect. Thanks again, both. Thanks for the audience for being here today, and have a fantastic week, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.